I want to talk about what the Durham indictments really show, because conservatives are responding to them by saying, first of all, we're not sure about this guy, Durham. He's thorough, but he's a bit of a tortoise. And where is this really going? How high is he going to take it? The complicity may go all the way to the top, maybe even to Hillary Clinton. Will Durham have the guts to pursue that? That's a legitimate, but a bit of a separate question. Conservatives are also saying, in effect, we were right. The Democrats never had anything on Russia collusion. There never was any collusion, and there wasn't a shred of evidence that there was. And nevertheless, even in the absence of collusion, they forged ahead. The FBI forged ahead. The media promulgated this. It occupied the better part of Trump's presidency. So this was not just an enormous expenditure of time, but it was really an irresponsible exercise of power. And all of that is true, but it doesn't actually go far enough, and it doesn't get to the heart of the matter. This is not a case of a prosecutor who didn't have enough evidence but said, you know what, I think the suspect is guilty. I'm just going to push ahead with the charges, and I'm going to rely on the media to, blacken this guy's reputation because they're going to run with it. And I'll see if I can get a conviction. No, this is something more like the prosecution working with the FBI to plant the evidence and then prosecute, knowing that there is nothing there, knowing that you are the source of the, quote, proof that you then are going to produce in court. I mean, it's a deeply deceitful operation, and everyone, in a sense, is in on it. The Brookings Institution, a liberal think tank, they're in on it. The FBI, Comey, Mueller, they're in on it. In fact, you see in retrospect that the whole Mueller investigation was a cover-up for Hillary. A cover-up because they knew what was up from the beginning, and this was all an effort to make this go away. And then the media, they were in on it. So this is the real collusion. It's a collusion in the United States among these various parties, and it's the left's control of institutions that enables them to pull this off. One institution hands off to another. So the Democrats hand off to the FBI, and the FBI hands off to the media. And then the media goes, truthfully, there's an FBI investigation underway, without reporting that the Democrats cooked it up in the first place. Now, at the level of detail, what we're talking about is the arrest of this guy, Igor Danchenko. Now, Igor Danchenko may or may not be a Russian agent, but he is a leftist who was ensconced at the Brookings Institution, this kind of left-wing think tank. And by the way, he was at Brookings with a whole bunch of other guys. I mean, many of these Brookings analysts would then go on MSNBC, they'd go on CNN, they'd promulgate the Russia hoax. Brookings also has a blog called Lawfare, in which they keep suggesting different ways that Trump could be prosecuted, Trump could be convicted. So Brookings is part of this scandal. Anyway, this guy, Danchenko, is indicted by Durham for multiple cases of lying to the FBI. But let's think about why he's lying. What is the purpose of these lies? The real trail here is not the lies. It is what I would call it the handoff. Who's getting information from whom? So let's kind of follow it back. We're talking, by the way, about information in the infamous dossier. Now, it's been known for a while that Hillary Clinton paid for the dossier. But see, you can pay for a dossier. You can pay an investigative reporter, or you can pay a private investigator to dig up dirt, and the dirt can be legitimate. So the media has known for a while that Hillary paid for it. But what they don't know is the Hillary campaign cooked it up. They paid for a dossier in which the information, false information, was being developed by the campaign itself. And this is what this Danchenko trail shows. So supposedly the information in the dossier came from a British spy, a guy named Christopher Steele. But where did Christopher Steele get it? Well, Christopher Steele got it from this guy, Danchenko. Danchenko was Christopher Steele's researcher and source. Well, where did Danchenko get it? Well, turns out, and this is the sort of the smoking gun, Danchenko got it from a long time, almost a lifelong Democratic operative named Charles Dolan. Charles Dolan. Now, this guy Dolan has kind of a long history in the Democratic. He's been involved with the Clintons. He's been involved with the DNC. this is a guy basically who is a Democratic operative. And the reason that Danchenko was lying is he wanted to hide the fact that this wasn't research that he did. He was essentially getting a handoff from the Clinton campaign itself. And so this was the purpose of the lies. And then Danchenko feeds to Steele. Steele puts it in the dossier. The FBI uses the dossier not just to begin an investigation of Trump, but they use it also to go after Carter Page, to get FISA warrants, to do surveillance that would otherwise be completely illicit. And so all of this is sort of coming home to roost. I could do a whole segment separately on the role of the media, because it was very clear early on that something very fishy was going on. But the media, people like Rachel Maddow at MSNBC, people, of course, like the New York Times, Maggie Haberman, they did not care that this information was false. They weren't even interested in finding out if it is false. To them, this was sort of a weapon. This was a harpoon that could be used against Trump, and they went at it the whole hog. So there's an enormous amount of guilt to go around here. And, you cannot expect, there's no element with these people of shame. The idea that they would come out and say, well, you know what, we really got this wrong. Yeah, we were prejudiced against Trump. A little bit of Trump derangement syndrome is valuable. No, they're not going to do any of this. So the only way to hold them accountable is for Durham to indict them, to bring out the handcuffs, to lock them up. And this trail needs to keep going. There's Mark Elias, there's Hillary Clinton, there's John Podesta. Were there people in the media who were part of this operation? In other words, who were part of this collusion, when knowingly disseminating false information? I don't see any reason they shouldn't be arrested either. So it's up to Durham. It's in Durham's hands. I don't know. I really don't have that much confidence that Durham will see it through. It seems like he wants to get a guy over here, get a guy over there. But so far, the guys he's gone after are underlings. And the real piranhas, the real big fish, are still swimming free in the ocean.